The Sun released a 17-second film showing Queen Elizabeth at about 6 years old when she was just a princess, her sister Princess Margaret at her side, the Queen Mother, and their uncle, the Prince of Wales. Now, the film appears to show the royals performing the Nazi salute. The palace says, quote, "It is disappointing that film shot 8 decades ago and apparently from Her Royal Majesty's personal archive has been obtained and exploited in this manner." Now, the Queen's uncle Edward was accused of being a Nazi sympathizer during the rise of Hitler in the 1930s. He abdicated the throne in 1936 to marry American socialite Wallis Simpson. Now, earlier I spoke with Royals biographer Hugo Vickers about how he felt about the Sun's decision to release the film.
First of all, they probably shouldn't have had it. Secondly, it will have been obtained by some strange method, and they won't tell us how they got it. And thirdly, of course, there should be a copyright issue. It's the Queen's copyright. It's her film, and it shouldn't have appeared. It's totally irrelevant. I quite agree with you.
In terms of context here, though, I mean, given what was happening in that period in the 1930s, does it tarnish in any way what everyone says is an impeccable record from the royals during World War II, starting with the Queen Mother herself?
Well, I think, you have to just look at the facts, don't you? The Queen Mother was one of our really most important war leaders, I would almost venture to say. I mean, she stayed in London with the King. That proved that things couldn't be too bad. They visited the bombed areas. They kept their children in England. They didn't send them off to Canada. She broadcast to the women of Britain. She did an amazing job, and she always remained resolutely a civilian. She never wore uniform, and so the images that you got of the Queen Mother at that time were of sometimes a woman in a little pony carriage with the two princesses cycling behind her, a hugely different, a contrast to what was coming out of Nazi Germany with people marching around in sinister black uniforms. She did a fantastic job, so the record stands.
In terms of the tabloid, as you said, this was clickbait, and I'm sure that it actually worked. Many people have gone online to look at this video. They, of course, argue that it's in the journalistic interest. Do you think, though, that it perhaps begins a new period with the royals in Britain in general, with the media? They've been fairly hands-off since the death of Diana. Do you think that this marks a different period?
No, I don't. I think this is a one-off thing that somebody got hold of this little bit of footage and saw the possibilities which they could exploit, as has been said, and they used it. I think it'll pass by pretty quickly, frankly, and I agree with you. I think that the response has generally been sympathetic to the royal family, and I think this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I think the Sun sounds pretty hypocritical because they try to pretend that it's in the national interest that we should see these things, and they particularly, of course, relate this to the various accusations that have been levelled against the Duke of Windsor pretty much unfairly over a number of years.